Did you know that Spartanburg was the original choice to build a speedway that would end up going to Talladega? Sure enough, right here in South Carolina.
I'm Todd Touchberry, and I try to stick to mostly pre-war automobiles on this channel. But if you know me, you know I love digging into the stories and the places behind the automobiles. And today we're talking about a town that doesn't always get the spotlight it deserves in racing history, Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Now, back in the 40s and 50s, South Carolina was prime ground for racing. And we're not talking about polished super speedways. We're talking about the dirt tracks where red clay was flying, fans were just clinging onto the fence, where mechanics took everyday cars and turned them into racing machines.
Just like this, the old Piedmont Interstate Fairgrounds right here in Spartanburg. Or what's left of it, I guess you could say. Let's just take a walk around. I was fortunate enough they gave me permission to drive out here.
Now, organized racing can be tracked back to the 30s here in Spartanburg, but NASCAR started and had its first Grand National race, a 100-miler, held July 4th, 1953, and the winner of that, Randleman, North Carolina's Lee Petty. Some of the sport's earliest stars raced through here. Names like Richard Petty, Ned Jarrett, Speedy Thompson, Curtis Turner, and I even remember having conversations in my early racing career with Richard Petty and Cale Yarborough about racing in my hometown of Sumter. Now, if you hear trains in the background, Spartanburg is known as the hub city because there were 8 trains that would leave out of here in different directions. Now, towering over the early years of NASCAR was Big Bill France. He helped turn the chaos into something more structured, giving the racers somewhere like Spartanburg still a place to build their reputation that we still talk about today.
What I love about Spartanburg's role in all of this is that it represents the grassroots sides of NASCAR. Before million-dollar haulers and corporate sponsors, it was local crowds, real red clay flying through the air, and drivers like David Pearson. Now, Grand National racing would continue here until June 4th, 1966. Elmo Langley picked up that win. Hopefully the history books will be around forever, but it looks like Piedmont has hosted its last race.
So why did Talladega get the speedway and not Spartanburg? Well, from my understanding is, in my research, and again, you might want to do your own research on any of this, Big Bill France made arrangements to pick up this 580 acres and turn it into a super speedway. But one council member was dead set against it. Then again, what would we call it? We have Dega, and that's pretty cool. What would we call this? The Spartan? The Berg? Just doesn't sound right. Either way, that's a lot of revenue lost out for the state.
And let's not forget the broader South Carolina connection. Just down the road, tracks like Darlington Raceway would go on to host some of the most iconic races in the sport. When Darlington opened in 1950, it started changing everything, but you can still find your favorite drivers on the local tracks right up the road from home. Why don't we see if we can find some of the old shops? Mario Rossi made 4 starts as a Cup driver between 1955 and 58. The New Jersey native was a mechanical genius who soon moved south to help build cars instead of racing. He worked for Smokey Unit when Fireball Roberts won the 1962 Daytona 500. Then he worked for Bud Moore. In 1967, Rossi took a leap of faith and started his own team on Greenville Road near the Beacon in Spartanburg. Donnie Allison was the first to fill the driver's seat, followed by Darrell Derringer in 1968, and then Bobby Allison took the helm in 69 and 70. Dick Brooks drove for Rossi in what would be his final year of managing a NASCAR team in 1971. In just 78 starts, Rossi's team amassed 5 wins, 39 top 10 finishes, and a 1970 World Champion Pit Crew Award. Unfortunately, we can't visit his grave because in 1983 he mysteriously went missing after a family member dropped him off at a New Jersey airport. This case is still open. Walter Maynard Bud Moore Jr. was born in Spartanburg on May 25, 1925. He served in the Army during World War II and was awarded 5 Purple Hearts and 2 Bronze Stars. This is the first of 3 shops that he had that I found.
I've been here since 1990, and when I was here, that was a barber shop. I didn't know it was a race shop. I'd done some work for Bud Moore and his crew, but we always picked him up out here behind Converse College.
That was at the shop that burnt down?
Yeah. The only shop I ever known him to have.
Oh, okay.
I never knew he had a race shop over here.
So what's been here since the barbershop? Anything?
Nothing. It's been closed since probably 97. There was a barbershop first. There was a house right beside. They tore the house down 10 years ago.
What'd you do for Bud?
Just clean cars up.
How many years did you help Bud out?
Probably 12, 14 years.
Okay.
I knew his crew chiefs, his sons, all of them. Still keep in touch with Donnie. Wingo was one of his crew chiefs, and Travis Carter.
Okay. Pretty cool memories.
Yeah, good. They was good. Bud was a good man. I like Bud.
I hate that I didn't get to meet him.
Yeah, Bud, I think he was a good guy. I really do. I liked him, and you ain't gonna find a better person than Donnie Wingo. First class guy. I knew nothing about NASCAR when I came here.
Yeah.
Wasn't something I ever, I grew up in Florida. I never paid any attention to it. But he was always about it. Precise on everything, man. He was a fun guy.
And if you're not familiar with these manhole covers, they were produced in our hometown of Sumter.
Bud Moore's drivers include Joe Weatherly, Dale Earnhardt, Bobby Allison, Buddy Baker, Ricky Rudd, Benny Parsons, Billy Wade, Darrell Waltrip, Kel Yarborough, Jeff Bodine, Morgan Shepherd, David Pearson, Darrell Derringer, Fireball Roberts, plus others like Tiny Lund, Lake Speed, Dick Trickle, Wally Dallenbach Jr., Ted Musgrave, Derek Cope, and Bobby Isaac. Wow! After 30 minutes of searching, I could not locate the second shop, so I assume it's been torn down for new construction. If you know for sure, leave me a comment. And, unfortunately, the final shop burned in 2024. Bud is buried at Green Lawn Memorial Cemetery, just like David Pearson, and for the sake of saying this, also some of the Marshall Tucker boys, but it's so large I could not locate his grave. Everett Cotton Owens would begin his racing career in 1946 and become nicknamed King of the Modifieds. In 1957, he would earn Pontiac his first NASCAR win. Between 1950 and 1973, his team entered 291 races. His drivers included some legendary names such as Ralph Earnhardt, Sam McQuaig, Darrell Derringer, Al Unser, Mario Andretti, Bobby Isaac, Marvin Panch, Marty Robinson, David Pearson, Bobby Allison, Charlie Glotzback, Buddy Baker, Pete Hamilton, and many more.
Buddy Baker had it to start with, but I don't have no documented on that. And I've heard that from a lot of people. And then I do know for a fact that Neil Castle's daddy had it. Or Neil Castle had it, I'm sorry. His boy schooled me on that pretty good. And then some other people too, and I've researched it pretty well. And then it was at Cotton's. The truck was at Cotton's. And I'm not positive, and I can't find no pictures because I believe they pulled Marty Robinson's car on it in like the 70s, early 70s. And then Gibson ended up with it to do mechanical work on it and all, and it ended up being at Gibson's, and that's who I got it from. So, but it was, Cotton did have the truck, so, and did use the truck, so I'm good with it. So the more cool people that had the truck makes the truck even better. Hell, how cool was Buddy Baker, Neil Castle, and Cotton Owens. So,
and Greg Porter.
And now Porter restored it. Yeah.
What kind of shape was it in when you got it?
It's pretty bad. I got some pictures of it. It was real bad. I give so you can imagine.
Yeah.
And then I restructured the bed. The bed was, they had trouble loading them back in the day. Had old long ramps. Actually, the bottom of the bed and all that, the bottom of the bed's new. And then I restructured the tire rack and all that, because the tires used to be on top of it. Up on the, so, because I'm hot rodding with it too, and it's got to suit, what I do.
Exactly,
So, it's all good, and it still got the respect of the three men that had it, the legends that had it. The side's pretty much original. Let me get this out of the way. All the inside's original. Everything's original except for the Stewart Warner gauges. I put new gauges in it. And that's actually the steering column out of the Freightliner. The bus, I used the chassis out from under, and the gas pedal. But that's the original clutch pedal, which is the brake pedal now. But this is the same upholstery that Cotton had in. And then the same headliner. It just had a window unit on top, and I didn't put it back. And then Cotton put the roll bar in it, or Neil Castle did. I don't know which one, but the roll bar was in it to hold the window unit up. And I molded it all in where it looked, you know, a little more.
Yeah.
But that is a roll bar that was put in it just to hold the unit on top, which was pretty darn cool. And I made the running boards because they had gas tanks on one side, and the original running board, but they looked like the original running boards. And I wanted it all flow with the bed.
Yep.
It was all kind of jacked up looking. So, but it's got the same, you know, like I say, I had to do it to suit me too, you know. And then my boy Cotton, you know,
yep.
I got my boy Cotton, and it was pretty cool. The whole time I worked on it, he laid up inside of it, or he was all over it when we was working on it. So, and that's actually how Cotton got his name, because of this truck. You know, I kept, you know, I had this truck and I called it Cotton, and then Cotton was solid white. And we picked Cotton out, me and Cassandra did, and it was pretty cool that I said, hey, we gotta pick the one with the white head, and we gotta name him Cotton, you know.
Yep.
So.
That works out pretty good.
I'm proud of it. I tell you, it worked me to death though. I never did think I was gonna get done with it. It just something every day, just on and on. But it turned out nice though. I'm done. So.
Yeah, it looks sharp.
Everett Cotton Owens and his wife are laid to rest at Sunset Memorial Park in Spartanburg, South Carolina. David Pearson would drive from 1962 to 67 for Cotton Owens, and they won the championship together in 1966. Pearson would leave that team and head up to Hallman Moody and pick up 31 more wins and 2 more championships. Pearson is buried at Green Lawn Memorial Gardens. Our next stop brings us to Rex White's old shop. Rex was only 5'4" and 135 pounds, being held here by Tiny Lund. He raced for only 9 years and had 233 starts. He won 36 pole positions, 28 wins, 163 top 10s, 110 top 5s, and was champion in 1960. I am curious about these modern race cars that are sitting outside the shop. Were they still using this for a race shop in the 90s and early 2000s? If you know, leave me a comment. Jeremy Clement's shop was next on our list, but they are still a very active shop with his local short track program, so I didn't want to stop and get in the way. Also, I was told this was originally Buckshot Racing shop. If you know for sure, leave me a comment. Built in 1946 by Bob Williman, Greenville Pickens Speedway was opened as a dual-use dirt track for horse racing and auto racing. After 6 years under Williman's leadership, the track shut down for 2 years before reopening in 1954. The following year, brothers Pete and Tom Blackwell bought the facility, owning it until 2003. Under the duo's leadership, the track held NASCAR-sanctioned events, was fully paved, and hosted the first live Flag-to-Flag Cup Series event in NASCAR's history. In 2003, car dealership owner Kevin Whitaker bought out the facility and held racing events including the Cars Tour. After 2022, the facility was again put up for sale with the intent of turning the land into an industrial park. As of 2026, the track remains but is in a dilapidated state, with the surrounding land having been converted into an industrial complex. There has been a recent outcry by the public to save the track at all cost. It was even mentioned on the Darlington race by Mike Joy, Darrell Waltrip, and others. Some of the drivers that have raced here include Richard Petty, David Pearson, Ned Jarrett, Cotton Owens, Fred Lorenzen, Butch Lindley, Randy Porter, Ralph Earnhardt, Joey Logano, Austin Dillon, William Byron, Corey LaJoy, Dave Marcus, Curtis Turner, and Bobby Isaac. Hopefully this track can be saved. Have you ever been to a race here? Leave me a comment. Floyd Powell may not be a name you recognize or remember, but with his home-built car known as the Blue Angel, he would win the track championship at Greenville Pickens in 1960, 61, and 62, and the state championship. The Blue Angel was located and restored by my friend Mark Brown.
It's a 37 Ford, 2-door. They call it a slant back. They made that was a slant back. They made one that had a hump humpback, what they call a humpback. But yeah, it's a 1937, and it's the original car. Floyd Powell built and drove the car, and my father and him growed up together in Spartanburg. And family members helped with the car helped him with his racing over the years. And he was killed in '63 in a domestic dispute. And the car and all was sold. And I always heard the car was still around. And several years ago, it was at an auction, and a fellow named Billy Strange bought it. And he said he was going to outrun David Pearson with it and put it in the museum at Spartanburg, but the museum at Spartanburg never materialized. They got a lot of money, and
I was about to say they raised a lot of money. I wonder what happened to the money.
Well, nobody knows. But after that, he didn't do no more with it, and I finally got his phone number from a fellow in the Greenville area, and I called him, and he said, yeah, I'll sell it. And that car was at David Pearson's old shop in Whitney, South Carolina. And I went and got it, and it weren't nothing but a hull. And we brought it here, and me and my son done all the mechanical work, and some other people helped us with the body and the sheet metal on it. And we've been taking it to shows and stuff.
Did you find anything that was definitely not stock about the car that helped him go faster or handle better or anything?
Well, it's got like a Buick shock on the front, right front. It's got like a Lincoln's shock on the left front. It's even got a screw jack in the rear. The springs were beefed up and stuff such as that. It had a gas tank in it, and it looked like an egg, and it was out of a World War II bomber. And we didn't put that back in it. We got a small fuel cell we put back in it. We had intentions of running the car at Darlington when they had the thing over there, but they quit with that. So we haven't taken it nowhere. It hasn't been on the racetrack in many years.
You got any future plans for it or anything?
I just keep it. It ain't going nowhere. I'll have it. It'll be here when I'm gone.
A letter from NASCAR warning him of jumping the restarts and threatening him with a vacation was one of the best things I saw in his scrapbook. Now, you won the championship in 60, 61, and 62.
Yes, but not with this car. He won the championship in 62 at Greenville Pickens, and the state championship with this car in 62. And they raced a lot of 37s because that was the first year, that 37 was the first year that Ford had a solid top. See, here's where they fueled it. You can see where they dropped the gas can on it. They opened the door and fueled it, and that's...
Yeah, huh. I'll be there.
Took two Buick wheels. You know, a wheel is wide. It's got a wide side and a narrow side. They cut them with it. They done all this with a torch and an arc welder now. That's all they had. And they cut it with a torch and took the two wide sides and welded them together. And then they welded that 37 Ford center in it. And he had a spindle that he put in a vise, and he'd spin that wheel and screw it up, spin it, screw it up till he got it like he wanted, and then welded it up. And he spent like hours just on making one wheel. But that's what you did. You had to make your wheels. When I was young, going to the racetrack out here, tires come off of race cars every night. Now you don't see that very often. They cut it. They had it cut out so they could get in and out easy. That's a little door over, a little window over there. And if it wasn't cut out today, I couldn't get in and out of it all. And I have problems getting in and out of it as it is. And as far as I know, everybody that had anything to do with this car now is dead.
Floyd is buried at Cherokee Springs Baptist Church in Spartanburg. Known as racing's first lady, Louise Smith raced from 1945 to 1956 and won 38 modified events. She supposedly got her start when a young promoter named Bill France was looking to increase attendance. The story goes that she had never even seen a race but finished third at Greenville Pickens on her first time out. She would end up racing with many of the names we've mentioned throughout this video. In 1999, she was the first woman inducted into the International Motorsports Hall of Fame, and with a little bit of help from the front office, I was able to locate her grave at Greystone West Cemetery and Mausoleum in Greenville, South Carolina. Hey, thanks for watching up until this point. I really appreciate that. There was a lot of travel and a lot of research to get this video done, and it means a lot that y'all have watched it this far. If you really like it, leave us a comment, leave us a thumbs up. There's even a link in the description if you want to have a beer or a coffee with us, and we'll give you or your YouTube channel a shout out in our next Speedster build video. And thanks for watching again. I really do appreciate it. And here's some bonus footage starting out with Highway 123 Speed Shop in Great Porter.
Pretty clean old car. Original car. Built in 65, 67. Means a lot to me. Means a whole lot to me. I done fell back in love with it right now. I've always loved it. Fell out of love. I'm back in love now. This is main priority this summer. Me and Cassandra's gonna hit some places. We're going to the Meltdown. We're gonna go back to Tri-5, and then we'll run some of them Southeast Gasser races. I'm definitely gonna be at the first one at Shadyside. I actually put a big block in it to run with Southeast Gassers this year.
Yeah, I ain't seen this car in a while.
Yeah, well, I ain't been legal. I mean, I didn't fit the rules. I hated not running with them. It just didn't fit the rules. So I finally got it's on it now. It should be competitive, if I get it all worked out. 60 foot, like a 120, 122. I think I got it. I honestly do. I feel good about it. I've raced a lot and all, and I kind of know. I know what you got to do. I've done everything you got to do. A lot of information from people that's already doing it. All of them. All the boys in the Southeast Gasser have been good. They've been good. I mean, anything I need to know. It's just good. It's just good to be back with them. Go back and hang out. Honestly, that's 24 years ago I built that truck. And then the little coupe, I built it like 22 years ago. That's how long I've had this stuff. So we're putting that in the show, this, in the truck, and Frankenstein, and Nightstone.
What kind of shape was this one in when you got it?
It was original.
Is it?
It still got the patina. I had to do the bottom of the doors and the cab a little bit. And I didn't want paint on it because it had the original paint on it. And it was real cool. And the fenders was rough as hell, kind of. I just fixed them a little bit and done this right here. And then I just sprayed that satin black on it and left it see. But once it gets a little age on it, it'll probably be okay.
Yeah.
But I put a 2300 in it, little Mustang motor.
Yep. A buddy of mine up in Asheville's got a 20 whatever T it is, and it's got a 2300 in it with an automatic. He uses it for tours. 5-speed. And I changed the pedals and all, but it's all original. It's every bit of it's all original. Everything's original. Even the bed, I redone the wood. I put red oak on it, red wood. I did the bed, but all the bed, is original. But it's just like that Lawless truck on that movie. I got to watching that movie and got hooked on that Lawless movie. And I said, shit, I got to build me one of them trucks. I watched that movie 100 times. Then I come from a liquor background, bootlegger and all that. Some of my family and all. I ain't never drank nothing, but my family did. So
I guess you can say I got a passion for liquor a little bit on the good side. So. But this is my two nostalgia cars right here. You know, that's what got me back into it. I had a car like this when I ran Greenville, you know, back in the limited days. And then I actually drove that car in '81, 5 races for Aaron Adams. He's from Atlanta. That car there, Johnny Allen, on Greenville and Rim, was real sporty. He's like 86 years old. He might be 80. Yeah, he's at least 86. He used to drive the wheels off that thing back in the day. Got forward road across the back real big, and everybody learned to read that pretty good when Johnny drove it. Get it, unmolested. This thing was unmolested. When I was 14, I watched them put these fender flares on there. Now these is different ones. I put the same ones back because they broke up. Well, that's off of a '70 Corvette. And I just glued them on there. But that was done back in the day. That's where I learned it at, watching this car. But right here's a picture of it, 1971. In Stars and Cars. It was a car show in Greenville. And that's that same car show we're going to this weekend again, but it's called Motorama instead of Stars and Cars. So
how long will you have on this one?
I actually ain't got but 6 weeks in it. I got 6 weeks in this, and I got off of it when I went to the PRI show, and I ain't worked on it since I got back, and that was in December. And I've been on the Night Stalker, putting that big block, getting ready to run some of them Southeast Gasser races, where I can get back in that game. And then this car show come up. This car show came up, and man, this took a lot of my time. So, but J. Ed Horton did the suspension. He's in Belton. He's an old funny car guy and all. And I actually rode with Arthur Pace. It's where I hung out at. He was my hero as a kid. And I hung out at his shop, and this was his car. That's why it's got Pacemaker on it. That was the name of it, Pacemaker.
Huh.
So J. Ed's 80, Arthur's 84, and J. Ed's 80. And they won, J. Ed did the suspension stuff, tied the frame together, ladder barred it, wheelie barred, and the row bar. But I put new doors on it, so I didn't want to fight the rust. But it's all original. It ain't been messed with till I got it. It had the original front end, everything on it. That's the same front end. It's just new, because hell, it's cheaper to, fiberglass rots. A lot of people don't know that, but fiberglass actually rots. So, this is my next project. This is special to me too. Pretty cool. I got this, you know, and then I got Dude Moore's, the Night Stalker, and then I got Cotton Owens and Neil Castle's ramp truck. Trying to get it done now. Them magnesium wheels, I just put them on there. Kidney beams. That stuff's about hard to find now. Got certain people hoarding all that stuff up now, they can find it. Luckily I got on that kick before everybody got on it, you know, years ago. I was able to find it.
What engine's in this one?
383 stroker motor. Chevrolet, small block. Cliff O'Brien done the motor. He done the motor in this and the Plymouth. That was really before I got hooked up with Fulton. He's an old timer. He's 92. Hell, he built top fuel motors and stuff back in the 70s. And then the front bumper and all come off of that big bus that I used the chassis out from under. I just split it and welded ends up and made it fit, and then I had it chrome. That's the grill. That was the original grill. I had it chrome, had it re-chromed. And all this intercooler stuff and the radiator and everything's out of the bus. And I gotta dial it, I'm gonna dial this up a little bit better, you know. I just hadn't took time to do it. Whole truck about wore me out. It was such a damn big project.
I imagine that was.
Yeah, and all I had to do on the firewall is just notch it back there, and I got it in I got it where it's bolted in and all. You know, you had to do that in case you had to work on it. But it still got all the original inner fenders and everything in it.
Having conversations with Richard Petty and Kiel Yorubal. But Big Bill France made arrangements to get this 575, 500. Did you know that Spartanburg was one of the original? Towering over the early years of NASCAR was Big Bill France. Now, when he came in and organized things, that gave the racers a place to race with that was a place to build a reputation of things that we still talk about today. Hot dog.